Nicky Dick,
What up, Phil?
what's going on, man?
I am so pumped about today's show. Let me tell you.
Why?
Well, one, we fixed some audio issues. That's number one.
We.
And two, your internet did not cut out once during the pre-show. So
And there
Not
goes the jinx.
that's okay. We're gonna see if I'm the mush or what.
You are Eddie the Mush.
That's right. Brun's next back, baby. What's up, guys?
So what's going on?
Another Wednesday, another great show, episode 75.
75.
75. We
75.
are three quarters of the way
to 100.
To our
100
centennial show.
We have to look it up. When would that be? 25 more weeks.
Depends how many weeks you miss, and depends if we take a break for Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Well,
and all
that's
that
true.
stuff.
You got to count. You got to factor that in.
Got to factor all that in.
I am
That's
going to
all.
miss 1 week, the week of November 5th.
What?
Yeah, that's seminar week.
Seminar. You don't do
Schmeminar.
seminars at 3:00. You do them in the morning.
Wednesday the 6th, I have the seminar in Dallas.
Dallas.
Day after the election day.
All right, fine.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
everybody unmark your calendars for that day. Don't worry about it.
Well, we can always do it on the 13th.
Great. So that's a week off. Cool. Yep. I'm going to get a new host. I need a new host.
Well, we can do it on Monday.
I need a new sidekick for my show. Anybody in the chat wanting to step up
whatever.
and do that?
You've
It
tried that.
really-
You
it
went
really
down
take-
that path before. You went down that path before.
It really takes zero skill. All you have to do is just show up. Anybody, any takers?
And you have to know how to fix Nick's microphone before the
Yeah.
show comes on.
All you need is an internet connection that works sometimes,
You know,
a
whatever.
microphone that works sometimes. There's plenty of great people out there that would just jump at the opportunity to spend an hour and 20 minutes with me on the air,
Uh-oh.
on the line.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what?
I heard a little hesitation in your voice there. It sounded like you were ready to drop.
I'm not dropping. I got super
Man.
internet here. I got the IT guy out my door. All I have to do is press this little
he did it
button over
again.
here.
On the line.
There's no. Anyway.
Good. So
what do you got?
Today
going
we
on?
have I got some stuff. I got some balls in. I'm going to run up to the shop tomorrow and drill them.
Mhm.
And then
You run?
quickly. I briskly get there.
Yeah. More of a sprinter
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah,
aren't you?
that's it, exactly. So I'll go up and see my buddy Jeff Hartsfield at the pro shop.
Is that Copperfield?
And, Jeff Copperfield. No, Hartsfield. He's a magician with the drill press though. And I'll go up and do that. And I want to throw the new balls because next week they're approved.
So I heard through the grapevine you're trying something new again. Shocker, but what are you trying new right now?
I tried 13-pound balls for the hell of it.
For the hell of it. So
Yeah,
now
you
everybody
know
knows why you're starting to make lightweight performance balls up hop.
What'd you expect? You own a company, you can do stuff like that.
Easy with the
Easy with dropping them. Anyway, it's interesting because we put the same cover on all the balls, obviously in that SKU. But the 13-pound balls have a higher RG
yeah.
than everything else you make. So I think that would help me because I have a low speed, but my rev rate's still pretty high.
Sure.
So
And also
I only
the
have one ball.
And
I'm
also
sorry?
the 1 pound less that you're throwing. You can actually
throw
throw the ball down the lane.
Yeah, but I also I hit it harder at the bottom now. That's a problem.
Oh yeah, because you actually can feel the ball at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. So now what's happened is Monday I bowled, my ball hit the back end and went sideways. So that wasn't good. But last night I threw the ball okay. So on Monday, my 13-pound Brunswick midnight T-zone was actually a spare ball on Monday.
Okay.
On Tuesday, I walked in with a double bag. That's all I had. 2 balls.
Roller or carry bag?
Carry. I wish I had a roller, but carry.
Maybe
So
you
I had
can win one.
I had to
Push the
stop
limit.
I had to stop halfway to the lane, take a rest from carrying.
Ah,
But the spare ball was not a spare ball.
no.
I absolutely made no spares last night.
You're not much of a spare shooter, so I don't know why you even bother
Well,
having a spare ball. That's just extra weight.
just extra weight, right? So anyhow, I missed a bunch of spares. I did win 3 out of 4 points though for my guy. So
Well, I mean,
and I won a bracket.
they got you low man versus low man. Of course, you're gonna win some.
Right. And I won a bracket. And I didn't see anybody get carried out on the stretcher.
I was gonna say that was my next question was who died?
No. That's the first thing I said when they announced my name for bracket money. I asked my buddies, did you anybody see anybody get carried out on the stretcher? But anyway,
who broke the glass for
I
the
think I'm gonna have
defibrillator?
I think I'm gonna have some fun with that.
Okay.
Because the RGs are higher, the diffs aren't necessarily lower. So I got to hit a pearl in, which is a generic asymmetrical core.
You say it's generic, but it's actually a zone elliptical stretch core.
Oh, is it? I didn't know. I didn't even know what it is.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. That's it.
Okay. Okay. So I got that, and then I have NU. I'm gonna drill that. I might have fun with that ball because I probably can control the back end with it and stay left and throw it a little harder.
Yeah, it won't overreact.
Yeah, so that might be
go
good.
sideways, as you say, either.
No, it's unbelievable. I mean, that ball just hits a spot and goes sideways.
Nice.
I went a touch high in the pocket on Monday twice, and I thought they were good shots, a touch high, and I left a 6-7 2 times on it.
Brutal.
Yeah,
You gotta learn how to trip those 6 pins as a lefty.
I know. I used to trip them a lot when I was younger. I mean, I was like noted for that. Trip to 6.
If only they made a 13-pound spy.
Not yet.
Oh.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm having fun with this T-zone because it. I don't need anything to hook for at all. You know,
No.
so I don't know if I need a spy, but I might. We're working on some stuff in the future, and obviously I will have a lighter wood ball. Finesse it on my spy on my
air ball.
T-zone.
Yeah. You got to lean into it and get it super high.
It's pretty high. It's pretty shiny. Pretty shiny.
I mean,
so anyway, that's what I've been fiddling with. So tomorrow I may go up and drill some balls, and throw them a little bit and see how it works.
All right.
Anyway,
Well,
we have some breaking news.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Oh, we got to talk about the wheel.
Speaking of fiddling,
What'd you do?
nothing. I didn't do nothing. I'm just saying.
Oh,
I put the link up. It's waiting for your.
I thought you rigged the wheel again. The Woo box is up, and that works out very simply. Put your name in it. Staffers don't do it.
Do not dare do it.
Don't do it. Anyway, the name goes in, and at the end of the show at 3:00 ish, we will pick a winner. If you're in the show, let's talk about that after I'm done telling the rules. If you're in the show, you let us know. If you're in the witness protection program, you got to give us a different name, and then we will give you 2 spins. First spin, if you like the gift, you keep it. If you don't, you can go again.
Yep. What happens if they get grip sack and grip sack?
They go again.
Triple grip sack?
Triple grip sack, you keep it.
That's unheard of.
So yet last week we talked a little bit about having to be in it to win it. You have to be. I don't know if that's a good idea because we like people watching the show after they're off work, and people that have jobs, unlike the people that are in the show now that are homeless and living in the streets of LA.
There goes our viewership, just dropped off. Way to go. You guilted them going back to work.
So, but those people want to watch the show and still feel like they're part of it. So I don't know if we need to you have to be here.
It hasn't come up that often where somebody wasn't here.
No,
it's only been 2 or 3 times since we've had the wheel, I think.
Yeah, and on top of that, you know what? They're the ones by not being here that don't get the second spin. So
and
that's penalty enough.
They don't get the joy of being able to take in all the information that we give you for free, week in, week out.
No, but they might be watching it afterwards.
Sure. I mean, but
they're getting all of the info. They're just not available for the whole show.
Right.
So I think we'll leave it the way it is.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote it. I work from home.
Somebody also said they're going to put your name in the Woo box so you can win a double roller bag. That's fun.
I want to win a grip sack. I do not have a grip sack, by the way. I have a Yankee grip sack.
Oh man,
it's about this big. It looks like second base. So
it's going to be a dry October for you then.
Looks like an old second base. It's smaller. It's regular size.
All right.
Spin it for practice. I'm going Chimay.
I'm gonna go new shoes.
New shoes. Baby needs a new pair of shoes. Boxcars, Big Bennies.
Ooh, Chimay.
Mm.
Chimay.
I'm going to play the lottery tonight.
What's tonight? You don't even have the state lottery in Texas.
Yeah, we do.
What do you have? You don't have Powerball or Mega Million?
We do.
You do?
Yeah, we do. I win every week.
Oh, maybe it's Nevada.
Nevada. Well, yeah, why would they? Right.
I mean, for the gambler's paradise, you'd think like, here's something
else to lose your money on.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they don't have it because they have less money to go into the casino with. The mob, no records. No records, Artie.
It's $3.
No records, Artie.
Right.
So we have news today, too. I have news.
Hold, we got news.
We have.
It's the striking news. Bowling news and views from around the world with your hosts, Brunsnick and Phil Cardinelli. It's the striking news.
Papa, I'm loving it.
Miss Rob. Rob will be in the show today.
He's in there. I saw him there.
Already? Yeah, he's the best.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing my due diligence on the topic of the day, and then I said, you know what, Nick's going to ask me what the news is. So I went and did some news search, and USBC had made some changes, significant changes to the rules and regulations for the Open Championships.
Right.
Starting in 2026. Yeah.
Back in Reno, by the way.
Back in Reno, Nevada. Nick likes Reno.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll be bowling with us again in Reno, won't you?
I love Reno.
I know you do.
I don't necessarily like how much the flights cost to get to Reno.
You can't get there, but once you're there, you gotta like it.
Man, it's almost better to just fly into Las Vegas and then make that drive of shame up there. Or you can probably find a couple of round trippers from Vegas to Reno nonstop.
How much is how far is that drive from Reno to?
It's like Nevada? 6 hours.
Yeah, it's over. I got the circle. I got the 5-hour circle.
The most exciting thing you see on the way there is the Clown Motel. I think that's just outside of Tonopah. Tonopah, is that how you say it? But there's a whole lot of nothing out there. I've made that drive a few times because when I lived outside of Sacramento, it was almost a wash depending on which way you wanted to go. If I wanted to go down south and cut across 58 or go up north and cut across Reno, it was not very nice drives either way, but both were like 8.5, 9 hours. Isn't
Vegas to LA pretty boring too?
There's not a lot there.
Yeah, nothing. That's called desert, right?
You're in the middle of the desert, Artie.
Yeah. So anyway, 2026 in Reno, they still have the average adjustment. 27 games puts you in a category, but the classified is now 160 to 180.
That's all you right there.
It's all me. And 185 and below if it's on a house shot. Your average on a house shot. If you don't have an established average or a conversion with a sports average. The standard is now, I'm sorry, I take that back. The classified is 160 and below. I take that back. It's 160 and below.
Man.
The classified is 161 to 181. So that group is, I guess, opened up a little bit size-wise.
I don't know what it was before.
I think it was 75.
Oh, okay.
And then the regular division is 182 and above. But if you're a bowl on a sports shot, the 185 and below average on a league shot is converted to the sports shot is 160 and below.
Okay.
And 186 is the next group, and then 211 and up is the next group. So they made some changes. But here's the other part: they're increasing the entry fee.
Yeah.
$10 entry for each event.
which all go in the prize fund, it said, right?
Yes, and a $5 increase for an optional all event.
Okay,
So that all goes in the prize fund.
that's fine.
So here's what it equates to. This year we had 11,012 teams. The prize fund was 7.3 million. So that increase makes this, if you have the same amount of entries,
It's per,
makes it
per
not
team. That raises per person, right?
Yeah, but if you have 11,000 teams and you pay with the new increase,
So
the prize
50
fund is now 9.2 million, not 7.3.
How'd you figure that?
I read the letter that they put out.
But if it's 11,000 teams, isn't that like 55,000 people entries
Yeah,
times that number? Is that what you're going off of?
I just went off the letter. I don't
Okay.
know. You want to calculate it?
I don't want to count. I mean, I thought you were doing your due diligence because you are not the fake news. You're the
No,
striking
I'm not
news.
the fake news.
So
$11,012.
$10 per event, right?
Yeah.
So
So that's $35. Because it's $5 for the optional. We'll count that in, right?
$35. And
Times
there was
35.
11,000 something teams.
Yeah. Times
So times that and then times 5.
11,012 times 5 times 35.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost 2 million, 1.9 million.
So that's what it's going to. Okay. I was
Yeah.
making sure your math is right. That's all.
It wasn't my math. It was my reading.
Oh,
It was their math.
yeah. Oh, you
Yeah.
misspoke.
Yeah. Oh, I misspoke. I really thought I was in.
What a knucklehead.
Yeah, I thought I was in China. So anyway, the other thing that was interesting, they have a 10-year restriction rules dropped. If you're 10 years out of the Rule 21, which is the restriction rule, whether it's collegiate, PBA, whatever,
Team USA type thing.
they dropped all of that. After 10 years, it's dropped.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, and if you're 60 and older, there are no restrictions.
Hey, now you can bowl with whoever you want, Phil.
I got a problem getting people to want to bowl with me.
I know. I can't believe I signed up for that.
Again.
Twice.
And then we'll be in Reno when we can apply it in Reno.
Perfect.
So, how old are you now?
How old am I now?
Well, how old are you going to be in a year? How old? Well, how old? Your birthday's tomorrow, by the way.
It is. It is.
How old are you?
I am currently 43 years old and 360.
So next
days.
year, well, we could have done it anyway. Next year, you and I can bowl the century doubles.
Are we finally old enough?
No, we were old enough.
Oh, you just didn't want to bowl with me.
Yeah, I didn't want to bowl. I want to see how good you were. But I've been watching your videos, so.
You have. Have you raised your because of it?
No.
Do you watch my videos in the mirror with the exception of where I bowled left-handed?
That's the one I watched in the mirror.
Just so you see how I bowl right-handed as a lefty?
Exactly, as a lefty.
Nice.
So anyway, that's the news.
That's it.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Good time.
And of course, I was on the internet for a little while this morning on the line, and there were people already complaining about USBC for whatever.
I think the rules make sense, and raising the entry fee, big deal. It's already pretty cheap to bowl that tournament. It's not a.
Where else can you bowl that type of tournament in that type of setting for that cheap of an entry?
Right, and have the chance to walk away with tens of thousands of dollars.
Tens of thousands of pennies.
Oh, yeah.
Of which most of the money I make in that tournament are brackets.
Most of the money you make in that tournament's on the 3-card poker table.
Exactly right. I'm a professional 3-card poker player.
Yes, a lot of strategy.
I know.
Put my chips down and they give me the cards.
So let me tell that story I was telling you before. Being October, it's funny. It's pretty interesting. So I get up this morning, get in the shower, getting out, ready to go. And my wife gets up and she said, "You hear the phone ring?" I said, "No, I didn't hear the phone ring. I was in the shower." She said, and this is interesting. We have a hotel downtown called the Menger Hotel, which is severely haunted.
Look it up. Yahoo it.
Look it up. Yahoo it. Whatever you got to do to it. It is, excuse me, severely haunted. There's a whole floor that's closed off in the hotel. And if you're a staffer, you can't go there without someone with you to that floor. If you sit in the bar, people say occasionally you see an apparition in the corner, appears, disappears. I mean, it's right up there. If most of the shows, if they watch The Most Haunted or whatever they are, it's on that show. Anyhow, the phone rings this morning, and it comes up on the TV as Menger Hotel. We never answer the phone if we don't know who it is. Really.
Sure.
So she picks it up and answers it, and there's no one on the line. No one on the line. And she's like, hello? Hello? And I'm like, no one on the line.
That is creepy.
In October. So we'll see if it happens again.
It's kind of funny that they waited until October to call. Like
I know, that's number
spooky
one.
season's
Right,
here.
Yeah, but I don't think they would just do that, right? Arbitrarily call a house.
I mean,
Maybe-
didn't you watch Unsolved Mysteries before and back in the day? Like that was the scariest show ever as a kid growing up.
I agree. Maybe it's a bowler that died is looking for a layout.
Maybe they want to get on staff and you didn't put him on before.
He's on staff. How do I? Hello? How do I get on staff?
Phil,
I want to represent Radical.
I could be very influential down here.
Anyway, so today we're going to talk about the evolution of cores, which is pretty interesting. I hadn't thought about this for a long time, being in it rather than an observer. You don't really think about things that happen and what caused what in that evolution. Mm-hmm. So I went and did some research yesterday and pulled out some photos or drawings or whatever was available. Obviously, we weren't really that good then because, number one, it wasn't in any internet, so you couldn't get on the line.
Yeah, you pretty much had to scan everything in now and all this stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to post the WooBox link one more time before we get into this.
And you know what to do with the WooBox. Put your name in there and all.
Yep. So we're going to get into this PowerPoint now.
Yeah, so I did a PowerPoint. I just called it Core Evolution because I had nothing else to call it. But, in the beginning of time, all they had was I didn't go back to the wooden bowling ball. Although I have one here, I could have done that. I have my ball actually is Count Gengler's bowling ball.
Really?
Yeah, I have it. It's right here.
What are you doing with it?
You want to see it?
Yeah.
All right, hang on.
Yes, I want to see the Count Gengler ball. Get it out of there. While we're waiting for Phil to get the Count bowling ball, I should probably put him back on big screen here, huh? Let's do that so we can see it a little bit easier. Oh my goodness. For anybody that doesn't know who Count Gengler was, he's going to tell you.
It's heavy. I think it weighs about 80 pounds.
Wow.
So anyhow, it's Gengler's bowling ball. Not because it only has his name on it.
Does it have a weight hole in it?
Yes, it does, by the way. Yes, it does.
Cheater ball.
And how I know it's his, Mort Luby from Luby Publishing wanted to put it in the Hall of Fame. Okay. He owned Grand Central Lanes. Gengler did, and that's what is on the ball. Grand Central Lanes with his name on it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, see,
very thrilling. What does it say on the side there?
It's got a B.
Well, what are the text? Is there text that's facing the camera?
Oh, yeah, that's just Count John Gengler.
Oh, okay. It's hard to make it out. That's cool.
That's right. It is. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I got it at an estate sale for $5.
$5.
$5. It's worth its weight in wood. But anyhow, it's pretty cool. And I got a little story that goes with it. So, I don't even know why I brought that up.
It's worth way more than $5. You're talking about the wood cores back.
Yeah, exactly. So there was no core, obviously, in that ball. But anyhow, the evolution, they simply had a pancake weight block, which is that slide there. And what they did was they poured the core material on a flat surface, and then they put it in the they suspended it inside the ball and poured the core material around it. Mm-hmm. So you had no dynamics, you just had top weight. And the purpose of that, if you go look up a patent on a bowling ball, top weight and so on, it'll talk about that's to replace, to not impact the weight, the dynamics of the ball with finger holes. So you're drilling into the weight block, you're not drilling into the not dense material.
Someone just brought up a good point. The
Yeah.
ghost that called you from the hotel, maybe that was the Count wanting his bowling ball back.
Oh, the Count called. He wants his bowling ball back.
He's like, I know you have it.
Give me back my ball. I love that stuff. Anyway, so that was the first ball, and that was on forever. That went until the 80s, I guess, maybe the late 70s, where all we had were pancake weight blocks. And that was just every company that manufactured did that. It was simple. And in those days, you really didn't have much dynamics. You had rubber balls, polyester balls, and then and that was it. So the pancake started it all. No dynamics, and then we started fiddling with drill patterns with the pancakes just to offset them. Offset them and put holes everywhere.
That's when you guys thought that the 3/4 thumb made a difference.
Well, you're right. I mean, that's everybody thought that, right? It was, and they had static and USBC or ABC at the time had rules that you couldn't have more than an ounce of any static weight, meaning finger, top, side, thumb.
Top was 3 ounce, I thought.
I mean, I'm sorry, 3 ounce for top. Yeah, and finger, thumb, and side were an ounce each.
Yep.
That's pretty interesting. So the next one now, this is interesting. Columbia comes up with a ball called the Vector 1 and 2. Freddie Borden was involved. If you don't know, he was a very famous coach out of around the Akron area in Ohio. He had a bowling center, Stonehenge, and so he decides that this is going to work for the dynamics of the ball by lowering the pancake. As in the Vector 2, it made the ball spin quicker, which made sense physically with physics. The closer the mass is to the outer surface of the ball, the slower it's going to spin. And then as you lower the RG, bring the mass to center, it spins quicker. As a figure skater, you've seen them, they spin and then they bring their arms in and they go quicker.
Yeah.
And then when they stop, they throw up.
We mentioned pancakes and Panichi shows up. Just like an apparition.
Yeah.
What's up, Panichi? I haven't given him a shout out in a while. He's watching the Tigers right now. I'm rooting for the Tigers. I hope they knock out the Astros. But
me too. It's my favorite team this week.
I'm kind of torn because you got the cheating team versus the former cheating manager. So I don't know.
You know what? No, I'm not even going to get into it. But no, his players threw him under the bus. We cheated. We got bonuses. We got him, and the poor guy gets fired. And then they all have the story. Well, I really didn't want the signs. Anyway.
Next slide.
no, let's talk about this one. So the Vector 1 rolled okay. It had a little bit lower RG than a normal pancake because it was closer to the center. The Vector 2 was a problem because they didn't realize that when you lower the RG, or when you lower the mass that close to the center, it's going to pull the track up on the fingers.
Is that what happened?
That's what happened. So then they started trying to turn it on its side when you drill it, and they got into all these problems. Fortunately, we've evolved so much that we can know that stuff before. I'm hoping in 2 weeks we can get Steve Freshour on and talk about an extension to these slides. Talk about the modern day things and what he does. But that was a monumental move in the industry. The Vector 1 and the Vector 2. You had a black U dot, and now you had the core which was a pancake ball, and now you had the core being moved up and down to create different motion. So if you were a spinner, you probably could get away with a Vector 2. The ball would go into a roll quicker. It did those things. But if you had a 3/4 type high track type person, you were up on the fingers or the thumb.
Yeah, John says I had 2 Vector 2s. One was drilled over the label, didn't do anything special. Got a second one, had some funky axis drilling with a massive crater. It rolled great.
Yeah, that's what they did. They turned that ball on its side. So the top of the weight block would be the center of gravity. And then they drilled this massive hole in it. And then the ball just rolled smooth. It rolled good, but it defeated the purpose of what it was designed to do, which really didn't work that well because, like I said, it pulled everything up on the fingers.
Got it.
So the next slide was interesting. When I was track, we modified the concept. Okay, so the pancake weight block would have been at the top of that core, what I did was I put I went to Home Depot and bought I put PVC pipes and cut them in 1 inch, 1 inch high PVC pipes. I think they were 3 inch diameter.
You got to remember,
They
like
were
early
more-
days of bowling manufacturing, you had to think of all different things. Like bowling ball cover, like back in the day, even on some
Yeah.
of the biggest brands, were mixed in chicken buckets, like
Absolutely.
big chicken buckets, and poured on the ground in a garage. That's how some
Yeah.
companies got started.
So
know?
I'm looking to change something to make the balls roll different. And so I Home Depot and I cut these 1 inch thick PVC pipes and I put modeling clay around them on a Teflon type table. And I'm pouring core material, dense core material in it, and then gluing it on top of a round sphere.
Okay.
The round sphere was made out of, I went to the Toys R Us and bought those kickballs that kids had, the orange, the big red ones,
Yeah.
cut it in half and made molds out of that and glued them together initially. So it was initially, and then glued this on top of it. But what it did was it moved, it made the RG higher. Okay,
It
made the
probably
RG
wasn't
higher.
in a union. Probably wasn't in a union. Poor enough.
No, it was not. But it made the RGs higher. It also, which I didn't know at the time, that was big enough so you could possibly hit it with your fingers and thumb, and that changed the way the ball rolled. This ball rolled really well when it was drilled with leverage weight because you really put that mass in a very strong position.
Mm.
So and that was what was popular at the time, was leverage weight, axis leverage, or whatever they wanted to call it. Made no sense, the words, but we used it anyway.
Of all this evolution and all these findings, about
Yeah.
what percentage would you say that was intentional versus just stumbled upon? Just something that was just
Well, I mean,
an
you go back to,
accident?
yeah. So you go to the vectors. That was intentional. Freddie Borden did some sciencey research and determined that raising and lowering that pancake would make the ball spin quicker. That wasn't that hard to figure out. And that's
Okay.
physics. You can go to any physics book and figure out radius of gyration, which is all it was. We don't know what we called it then at the time, but that's what it was.
Mhm.
And then once I saw that happen with Columbia, I said, well, what if I went even further than that? And I glued that to the top of it,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
then the next slide. Yeah. So here, this one was sort of really revolutionary. I actually moved it even further with the Nuke. Now, what happened with the Nuke was BASF was making cover stocks for us. And, we were trying to keep up with everybody else, and we were trying to do different things at Columbia. And they came up with this resin, and we tried it. And no one liked it at Columbia because it was supposed to be the next flippier type resin and all. And what I did was I took the balls, the sample balls with this core in it, to the lanes, and I sanded it, made it a more abrasive surface, and the ball rolled really good. So the combination of the higher RG with a dense flip lock, even away from the core, further away, made this ball a little more dynamic. And we had a lot of success on tour with it. But again, if you notice how we started with a pancake. We started moving it down. And as you got it further down, it started to roll bad. You had to do trick drillings. So by moving it to the top, we had higher RGs. Now, at this point, you have to remember, we didn't have oil issues on the lanes. It wasn't like they had machines that do what they do nowadays, where they put down a flood of oil, or and stuff. All they really had was Sentry machines, or they were stripped, or the newer lane machines were coming out that stripped the lanes really clean. So you needed something with a higher RG because there weren't high volumes on the lane. Getting a hook was not the issue. It was trying to get ball motion down lane.
The Nuke was actually the ball that I really wanted as my first reactive ball for my
You should have called me. I'd have sent you one.
14th birthday. Yeah, click. Yeah, track balling. What do you want? Yeah, but I got to the pro shop and they didn't have a 14-pounder in stock,
Right.
So ended up getting a Beast instead.
Which was really a good ball.
Sure was.
That's right. Next slide, please. This is the first two-piece ball ever made. It was the ultra angle. If you look at the shape of that, it was actually, and I don't have it here, it was actually a Dixie cup turned upside down. Turned upside down. Basically, that's what that was. The problem with that is it flared. No one knew what flare was. And when the ball came out, they all said the same words: ball wobbles.
Yeah, it's wobbling.
So then they tried to figure out how to drill it to get the ball not to wobble.
We want the old way back.
Yeah, we want it the old way, you know. So now you got a ball that's going to flare, so it's going to roll over cleaner parts of the ball, not pick up oil, have more motion down lane. No, I don't like that. It's flaring. Look at them. Everybody's used to having that little pencil-thin track. So they were trying to find out ways to do this to make it not flare, you know. But it was the first ball. No one knew, you know. And Ron Wood, who was the consumer guy, was part of this deal on Long Island. I became real good friends with Ron after the fact, but you know, they didn't know what they do. They stuck a Dixie cup in there. What about this?
Let's try that. Here, go sell that.
Let's try this. So,
that
was the first two-piece ball. But again, you know, we're in a stage where there is nothing. You know, we hadn't even had anything invented yet.
You hadn't invented anything.
Well, a couple of things before that I did. But go ahead.
Yeah, this was the Dark Ages.
It was the Dark Ages. So this is the first hammer core, the original hammer core. You know what that looks like, don't you?
Tell me.
Go look at the old toilet bowl floats.
Oh.
It is.
Is that what that is?
It is. Look at it. It is. Where that red piece on the top is where the arm would go that would hold it to the handle so that when you hit the flusher, it would lift it up and pull up the plunger. And when it came back down, it would fill up with water until it got to that point and stopped it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, well, there you go. There's your first hammer two-piece core.
You just get inspiration from anywhere when you're a bowler or a ball designer.
Absolutely right. You have to have something. Right.
You just go to Home Depot and you walk up and down the aisles till something just jumps out at you.
And in the case of this one, that you know, the density was big enough because you had a 16-pound ball, and in a two-piece ball, urethane was about 12.5 pounds, a little less. Okay, you know, if you poured a ball with only urethane, so you could put some density in that core, make it a 6-pound core. You know, by the time you shaved the ball down and everything, you had a 16-pound ball or a 15-pound ball. That was pretty cool. It had a high RG and a low differential. That ball had a diff of about 0.13, 0.14.
So not a lot.
Not a lot, right? But that's how we went from the ultra angle to that.
I mean, they should have gone to Lowe's or a Builder's Emporium or something to try to find a different kind of
absolutely right.
Different float with maybe a little more asymmetry.
That's right. So that was pretty interesting. So then Columbia says, you know, we have to have a ball to compete with that. Okay, well, I put mine in there ahead of time. Anyway.
You want to go to the Columbia one?
Yeah, go to the Columbia one next. So they come out with the Beast. This was a 100-watt light bulb.
Okay.
I ain't making that up. You know the big, not the ones now in the house. I'm talking about the big, old-time, clear 100-watt light bulbs.
Sure.
I don't even think it was called Home Depot at the time. But anyway, that's where that design came from. And they simply made a mold around the light bulb. And that was the Columbia's variation of the hammer. It was it. To that.
Bred that.
To that. And that had a little bit higher RG. It didn't flare as much, but it was probably the closest we could do.
If only they had picked like a flood lamp instead, you know, like that shape. Maybe that would have done a little bit better. Maybe it would have been like a vector type core, but with that light bulb type shape.
Yeah, exactly. No.
I should design cores.
Which you'll see coming up in one of the other pictures, by the way. So you weren't that far ahead of your time, Nick. Yeah.
Well, I thought about it. That's all
you thought about it. Yeah, exactly. So let's go back to the trackball. So the Enforcer, it's just interesting.
Hold on, I know what this is.
What?
That those are chlorine floats for your pool. You just tape 2 of them back to back, and you put them together, and that's what you got.
No, not quite. I'll tell you what they were.
Okay, tell me what they were.
The top and the bottom, the core itself, the body of the core, were Tupperware bowls with a line with a line drawn on it, and with Dixie cups.
You took 2 plunger heads and put them together.
No, they were Tupperware bowls with a line drawn on them. We filled it up to that level.
Yeah, we took my aunt's bunt cake pan and we made a mold of it.
Okay, and how'd I hold them together? You're gonna love this one.
Oh man, tell me.
I glued them together with balsa wood.
My gosh.
And then there's the top one was a dense material which I can control, and I can keep the core in the center of the ball, and I can just change the density of the top Dixie cup to get the right amount of top weight. Now, here's what I didn't know, and now it's obviously. What do you notice about this ball that none of the other balls had?
The core is extremely close to the surface of the ball, and it's offset.
And what else? The belly of that core is fat.
It's a fat core, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know why. We did it. It rolled good. But then I realized after going back and learning is that we were drilling thumb holes into that body of the core, into the fat belly.
And that offset was probably creating some pin outs for you too.
That's how we created the pin out. That's exactly how we created the pin out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We offset it. And we would drill a hole in the top of the core where the offset had to be. Now, don't forget, the bottom of a Dixie cup has a little round mold spot in it, and that was the center of it. And we measured off that to offset the core.
Call that weird science, folks.
Call it whatever you want. Here we are.
I'm going to post.
But notice we were the first fat belly core in the industry.
There was a lot of fat bellies that made cores, but you were the fat belly core maker.
Core, right? Exactly right.
I just posted the Woo box one more time. I'll probably have time to post it one last time, but you got 17 minutes until probably less than that until entries close. So get your entries in. I think we're well over 200 already. So
I bet we are.
Yep. All right. What else we got?
So what do we got next?
We got to skip across.
Skip that one. I have in the wrong order. Okay. So then we had this was one of my favorite balls. I was trying to get the RGs down because everything at up to that point was a higher RG ball. There was nothing with a low RG. So I designed and patented the triple density core, and the inner ball was poured with a very dense material, bismuth. It was expensive. And the outer core was simply a modification of a beast core.
Okay.
And then I had a third core, the outer core, which I was probably the first one to ever do that, put an outer core in a ball. Every ball up to this point was just 2-piece. I had a 3-piece core, and the outer core was even lighter. So I went dense, lighter, and then even lighter to make this a lower RG ball.
Yeah, to make it even more dense, sure.
Yeah, and this ball dominated the tour.
Dominated?
No, I mean, the fall that we came out with this ball, it won 5 of the 6 events.
Wow.
Yeah, there was the only time it lost on TV was when it lost to itself.
When did that come out? What was that?
95, I think.
So I'm going to look it up. I'm going to try to find that stretch of shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm going to fact check you on this.
I thought we weren't fact checking in this debate.
Don't make me mute your mic.
Mute my mic. Fight my mute.
Someone says 97.
All right. Well, whatever. I don't know. No, I don't know whenever the fire was here is when we made this ball. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was 97. You can look it up. That's easy. That one's in the archives. They're the bowling what are the USBC approval. I think it's on that list. But you can fact check me. It was in the early-ish 90s. So anyway, so this was something that I was trying to get a lower RG ball, get a ball to spin quicker, because the PBA tour was playing around with putting STP in the oil in the heads, and I wanted something that spun quicker for my guys, and we absolutely ran them over with that ball, and they were building them when the place caught fire. down here. How ironic!
Simultaneously?
How ironic! Isn't that
Yeah.
ironic? That was the ball that they were cutting on the lathes when the place caught fire.
Hmm.
So anyway, next one. But you
Uh,
see, there was an evolution going on here. So we are learning from what we did before. At least I was learning.
and it looks a lot of like one-upping from all the brands.
That's what I kept trying to do. That's right. So here we go. Now I get to the point where I want to get even a lower RG. And other companies are now copying what we're doing, and they're trying to make low RG balls, but they still can't get them low enough. So I go over to Japan, and I see this concept they had with this mass putting in the middle, and I go to try it with a ceramic that was built by Coors, the beer company. They made ceramics. They had ceramics that they bought that they used to clean out the drums. They tumbled them in the drums. So we bought a bunch of them from Coors, and I weighed them, and they were all different weights and different sizes. So it's going to be tricky, but I wanted to experiment with it. So we put that in an upside-down beast core.
Now, critical mass was before the heat, right?
Yes.
Okay. You have them in different order here then. Okay.
Yeah, I do. No, I don't know if it was.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember. I can't remember all those dates. So
Nice.
you might. I'm sorry, but anyway,
We can get fact checked in the chat. Critical mass before heat. Let us know. I'm pretty sure critical mass was probably around 94, 95.
You might be right. Anyway, so
ceramic core was first though.
Yeah, but ceramic core was first. And the problem we have with ceramic core is I couldn't get it heavy. Maybe that's why the heat was second. I got the heat inner core even heavier. But with this one, was the cool thing about it was, number one, it was marketable. Number two is you couldn't drill into it.
Mm-hmm.
So what you ended up with, whatever mass was in the center of that ball stayed there, which made that core very center heavy.
You'd ruin your bit.
Yes. I will tell a quick story about that. The manufacturing guy at the time was the guy that knew everything. Just ask him. And I told him, you can't drill into that core. And he said, oh, we could do it. We have machinery that'll drill into it. I'll show you. So we take one, we go down to the factory, and he gets one of the workers to set the ball up on a hydraulic drill press. He puts it in a hydraulic drill press. He puts a diamond bit in there and presses the button. And his ball, here's the bit that's going in. It's going in. It's going in. He starts smiling, like, look. And when it came out, the drill bit was that size.
Whoops.
So it shaved off the entire head of the drill bit, the diamond drill bit. And that lowered the RGs. And once I was able to make a core that was center heavy, I could fiddle a lot. Now I had a myriad of things I could do that I've been waiting to figure out how to do it. So then the code red comes out. And here's what happened with the code red. I got all the mass in the middle, but I couldn't get any differential, and I couldn't get enough flip down lane. So the easiest way to do it, I had a flip block. And now I could put the ceramic core in the center of the ball. So I had really a center heavy core, and the geometric center of the ball and the mass were in the same spot.
If you really want to ruin everybody's day, you should have made the super dense flip block out of ceramic core as well.
That would have been perfect. You could drill it a 3/16 of an inch into the ball. Good luck.
Don't drill anywhere near this pin.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right. That would have took care of cracking problems we have today. You can't drill there. No,
Right.
No, you can't drill there.
No, we're telling you can't. Watch me. All right.
Yeah. So I could play around with the densities of the top flip block and get top weights dialed in and all of that stuff.
Right.
And we were able to go with a low density outer core because I had the mass in two spots, and that made it more dynamic. Before you had to have a higher density inner outer core to make the weight in the ball. So I put the ceramic core in the middle. I put a flip block on top, and now I could take weight out of the outer core.
How hard was it to hit like target weights and target top weights and pins when you have this many densities and pieces going into a ball?
It was very, very tricky. the R&D took longer because
Right.
we had to calculate all of that.
Sure.
But the beauty of it was a lot of hands-on. You know what I mean? Like we would make a ball and the pin wouldn't be out enough, so I'd offset the core.
So that would be the fix for the offset there, and
For
that
the
would usually
offset.
take care of both. That would usually take care of both.
Yeah,
top
as the pin went further out, the top weight went up.
Okay.
You know. Yeah, I'm sorry, went down.
Down.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then as the pin got further in, the top weight went up. You know,
Got
so
it.
I could create, I could play around with it, and we realized that we didn't have many variances. The ceramic was in the center of the ball. The center of the ceramic was in the center of the ball.
No matter what.
No matter what, on that ball in the early stages of it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So we were able to fiddle around. I had a lot of fun with that, and then it was marketable.
You're a good fiddler.
Yeah.
You're
We
not,
did.
You're not second fiddle to anybody. You're not second fiddle to anybody.
I'm not playing second fiddle to anybody.
I would think two fiddles in a band would be overkill anyway. So
you want to do your top 5 now, or you want to wait?
How many more slides we got?
I don't know. We have some.
We got 5 left. You want
What do you
to
wanna
take
do?
a break and do the top 5?
Yeah, do the top 5.
All right, we're gonna do the top 5, and this is a great top 5, if I might add, because I came up with
You invented it.
Yeah, because I want to stay on topic, and I wanted to
There you
talk
go.
about my
Right.
favorite 5 cores of all time. And Phil's like, "Well, what do you know about anything?" Murr, murr, murr.
Oh yeah,
You know?
really.
It's like, look,
Yeah.
you make one PowerPoint, you finally contribute to the content of the show, and now
Finally.
you're like, nah. These are the top 5 cores of all time, as I
Of all
see it.
time in recent years, because you're only like 14 years old when you started bowling.
In my picks, in my experience. How about that? This is what I've experienced. So top 5 cores all time, going back to the old days, or in the 90s. I threw a lot of
Right.
beasts. Super Beast was probably my favorite.
Right.
They didn't flare a lot. They didn't need to, but
Nope.
for whatever reason, those bowling balls just rolled really nice,
They were all good.
real great, nice.
And the titanium, thank you, was to lower the RG on that ball.
Titanium was a big deal. Late 90s, holy moly!
Yeah,
Like
it was a
Boss,
gimmick. It was a gimmick.
Rage. I think Rage
Gimmick.
had it.
Gimmick.
You're just mad. Why don't you go get a haircut?
I'm gonna do it next week.
All right,
Maybe
number
this
4,
week. Go ahead.
Inferno.
I like
core.
that ball. That was a good ball. We used that core in the Tour de Fair.
You did, yeah.
A knockoff of it, yeah.
It's made its way back a couple times. The
Yep.
when we first purchased Ebonite, gosh, what was that first purple and silver ball? But I shot 300 with it.
Right.
I can't think of it right now offhand. But yeah, that had an Inferno core too, because they
Yeah.
needed to get balls in the line, so they took some existing cores while
Right.
they were developing new ones.
Yeah.
So I'll think of it after the fact, I'm sure. Anyway, but yeah, that was like the start of like the geometrical shape cores from Brunswick, where they came out with a
Right.
lot of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Number 3, Quantum
Quantum
Mushroom.
mushroom.
Quantum Mushroom.
Right. Why did you like that ball?
Better than a Fire Quantum back in the day. And when that ball was remade a couple times.
Yeah.
Most recently with the Quantum. Most success is when the PAP is migrating towards the thumb. Some of them go
Okay.
up and are a little
Yep.
bit more like oval shaped, and they stay away from the thumb, and some come down to the thumb.
Yep.
In those cases, almost 100% of the time, I like the way that ball rolls. I can see it better. It just transitions better. I don't know, but Quantum Mushroom, I'm not alone in this one.
Huh.
So let's see. Number 2,
Black Widow
Widow.
gas mask.
This
Yeah,
one's
that's
fairly
really cool.
This one's fairly new to me, because
Mhm.
I've been on staff for a long time and
How
never
long?
got to throw. How long?
How
Well,
long?
I mean, technically they dropped me off staff in 2010, but
I'd have dropped you sooner, but yeah. Sorry.
you wouldn't have. I would have been the best staffer you had.
Yeah, the gas mask core has been around forever.
Since 2005 or 6, I believe,
Yeah,
when the first
yeah.
Black Widows came out.
Right.
So people are saying our internet's kicking off, but I'm not cutting out. You're not cutting out. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
it's you guys need to put quarters in your machine this week. I
Yeah,
don't
right.
know.
Maybe it's theirs. Now that they said that, I'll probably go out for the rest of the show.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hope so. But yeah, I've only been able to throw Black Widows since like late 2020 when we brought out the 2.0. But fantastic bowling balls. Now I know what people were saying all this time. So,
Yep.
number 1, zone
Elliptical core.
core.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And that you're saying that's the core that's in the lightweight asym balls that we make.
Yes, and
Okay, I didn't know
also
that.
like similar to like what Theorem is now.
Yeah,
That same vaporize.
yeah,
That
yeah.
core is just a dream come true for me, and I'm glad
Okay.
we're starting to see it again. Like Vaporize, fantastic ball. Theorem, fantastic ball.
It is. Yeah,
And anybody who
that's what's
throws
in it.
12 and 13 pounds, that's what you're getting.
I'm gonna be excited to try to hit a pearl.
Good.
Yeah. Good top 5 for you. It was good.
I'm gonna post the Woo Box one last time. You literally have 2 minutes to get in.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes to get your name and information into the Woo Box before
And we still got a
ship the Woo
few
Box.
more slides to go.
Yep. So let's get right into it.
All right, let's go to the next one.
I'm working on it. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. So then the Track Synergy came out, and that ball was great. As for a lot of players, loved it. What I did was I kept that ceramic in the middle, and guess what I did? I put flip blocks on the top and bottom.
Ooh.
And what I was able to do there was simply put the flip block on the bottom and then change the density of the top one to offset it. So I could put a heavier flip block on the top by putting one on the bottom.
You're like the exhibit of flip blocks. And what I mean by that is,
I wish I would have patented the idea.
what I mean by that is, yo, dog, I heard you like flip blocks. So I put a flip block on top of your core and a flip block on the bottom of your core.
I wish I would have patented the idea.
Doesn't that offset the effectiveness of because they're working against each other now?
Yeah, but here's the deal. The bottom one was in most cases, half the density of the top one. So I was able to take more weight out of the outer core.
Okay, and make it further away from, so that raised the RG back.
It raised the RG, right?
Yeah,
but I had that mass in the middle, so it still spun a little bit. It was pretty good.
Now,
and again, this ball was very angular.
This core minus the ceramic part is in the cipher, the Track cipher.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it was one of the best balls we ever made. The Synergies.
I don't remember you making any balls. You weren't on the line.
I was on the line. Anyhow, but again, you got to see it's all evolution. And, I was trying to figure out evolution. And I said the easiest way for me to explain this to everybody, I'll just use stuff that I had worked on, and it's not all mine. Trust me. I mean, so far, we talked about some Columbia, some Hammer, but, I'm just giving you the chain of thought that evolved in today's balls where the RGs are lower. We get there differently. We're using flip blocks. All companies use them in some variation, I believe. But again, how you use them and how you learn from the past ball to create the next one. If we have Steve on in 2 weeks, he'll talk a lot about some of the evolutions and things that we do. You learn from the last one. If something works, you keep it and you try to improve on it.
Sure.
So,
yeah, he'll get way more in depth.
Oh, absolutely.
On a shorter timeline, obviously, but very, very scientific nuances and the type of technology where he's not going to necessarily Home Depot to look up core shapes. He's designing them in-house from his
Dixie cups,
from his big brain
and
and plungers. Got it.
Dixie cups and Tupperware.
Jeez.
Yeah. So then we this is what created an issue for the American Bowling Congress. I created a ball called the Track Flare. Okay, I did it for two. Number one is I'll talk about the core first. I'll talk about the name. So the Track Flare, USBC had a differential limit of 080. Think about, we're in the 050s now, and they're trying to get it lower. We had 080, and I made a ball that was 080, 075 actually. It was a Track Flare. It flared around the whole ball, literally. Now, a lot of people couldn't use it, but a lot of people that needed help to get the ball a hook or move down lane this ball was a godsend. It had a medium to low RG. The inner core, like I said, was a low density, but the outer 2 blocks were high, and the ceramic core made it really dense on the bottom. So I could really load up the top weight. It created a flywheel going down a lane. Okay, so I didn't know what to name it.
So this ball,
ahead.
would be grandfathered in, right?
Oh, I don't know how that works. Yeah, you
think
make it tomorrow? Maybe.
No. I mean, like, if somebody still had this ball.
Oh, they could still use it because it was built before they changed the rule. That's exactly right.
Grandfathered in.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you a funny story how it got its name. So Mo Pinnell was designing cores now for Hammer. I believe Hammer or somebody. He was doing something with one of the other companies. And we were both speaking to the IPSIA people at their convention. And Mo was doing a seminar, so I sat in on a seminar, and I sat next to my dear friend, Jerry Francomano. But can they pitch? So Jerry leans over to me and says, why don't you name your ball Track Flare?
So he came up
and I started laughing. The reason that he said that was Mo was on the kick at the time of every ball he talked about was Track Flare. Whenever he talked about a ball, it was Track Flare. Notice the Track Flare, the Track Flare. So I come out with the ball to drive Mo crazy. I name it Track Flare.
So petty.
Well, no one knew it, but I was having fun with it, and so was Jerry. Now, here's the problem. Mo had done these seminar pamphlets that he was going to do for the whole year and hand them out. And they all said Track Flare. So
that was back when he was going to Kinko's and making the binders.
Absolutely right. That's exactly right. So
I still have one of those, by the way.
He had to take those pages out, and he called it Track Migration because he didn't want to give me the credit of Track Flare. So he had to go to Kinko's and print all those pages over, take out that spiral binding, and put those pages in its place. Jerry and I got a good laugh out of that.
Way to go.
So USBC says 80 is way too much, and we didn't know anybody could ever hit that. They told me that. We didn't think it was reachable. We put 80 out there because it was unattainable.
Mm-hmm.
So then they lower it to 60.
Yeah. I remember when that happened.
Yeah. They said it was unattainable. 80 was unattainable in well, I didn't realize what I was. My job was to break the rules. That was my job. So
I mean, technically you didn't break the rule.
Well, yeah, my job was to.
So I got a question for you then.
Yeah.
So the undrilled ball had close to 80.
I have no idea what the drilled ball had.
Right. What did the numbers go up or down? Would you think after drilling?
They might have went down because you drilled into that dense flip block.
I got to think that has to happen, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know though.
But think about the flip block was the center of gravity.
Why didn't you
put out the pin? It was under the pin.
Why didn't you put out the after drill numbers on this ball?
Because we didn't have the line at the time.
We didn't have fresh hour at the time.
Yeah, we didn't have fresh hour. Anyhow, that was a fun project. The ball flared like crazy. Danny Wiseman won with it, and I think Dave Ferrara shot like 840 with it on TV or some stupid number. Well, one of them did with the NRG. So it's pretty cool.
That is a stupid number.
Yeah, it was a number in those days, especially.
I remember the NRG very well, and Wayne Webb, throwing that ball.
Yeah, and that was the same concept as the flare, the Track Flare.
Okay.
With the flip block on the bottom, right?
I had an NRG. Great ball.
You did?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was okay. I like the TKO punch the best.
Yeah, that was a good ball. That was a
I won a big major award with that ball.
Yeah.
Called the Turkey Shootout back in the day, and it was a junior event, 2-day event, and
right.
Yeah, won that thing.
And that core was simply the an elongated. It was similar to the zone core, but we put a ring on it, a dense ring, and that was pretty cool because we started at the bottom of that. If you could imagine how that shape is of the zone core, the bottom, we put the ring on it, and then I realized you could inch that ring up and get a different ball motion. So I moved the ring up on the neck.
Went back to Home Depot and got some more PVC.
Absolutely right. My
What else
aisle.
you got?
What else you got? So John Fabinich, JPF, John Fabinich invented this ball called the Axe, and it was literally shaped like that, and there was a lot of drillings on it. And the reason I mentioned Fabinich is he was the founder of Fab Ball, him and Dennis Baldwin, hence the name Fab Ball, Fabinich Baldwin. And they built balls together in Maryland, I believe is where, I don't know where they started. I think they did in Maryland. But anyhow, he was a brilliant guy. The problem he had was, in my opinion, was a lot of his concepts were just way ahead of its time, where he couldn't market it properly.
Okay. Was it a manufacturing issue as well, or no?
Well, he didn't have manufacturing. He didn't have that. When I started track, Columbia came after us right away and wanted to build our bowling balls.
Right. But like this ball particular, this is what, late 80s, early 90s? I'm not sure exactly.
Late 80s. Late 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the other problem. You're right when you say manufacturing issue. Yes, he didn't have the sophistication to manufacture that. When you have 3 protrusions like that, and think about that, protrusions are key right now, and Steve Freshour does a lot with them. His problem was putting them in the right spot.
Sure.
I mean, look how close that one was to the surface of the ball. It had a great concept.
Yeah, which one's the pin? Which one's going to be the
I don't remember. I don't even know if any of. Yeah, exactly. I think the top one was the one that's close to the surface was.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, you could drill that ball a lot of different ways. But the problem was, I think the manufacturing process made it difficult. But he's the guy that started Fab Ball with Dennis Baldwin. And the two of them made one of the best balls ever with the hammer. So that was it's pretty cool. And again, like I said, he had some great ideas. The problem was a lot of times when you have these tinkerers, people that do concept, they have to realize it's got to become a reality. Mo would design cores that didn't fit in the ball.
Right. Yeah.
So, and a lot of problems with the cores are a lot of times when they're designed, they have problem areas, little spots that become stress points, where the core material doesn't flow properly, and you create voids.
You create the void with the outer material coming in, like it's not filling up that spot. Sure,
exactly.
And then demolding on certain styles. Getting the core out of the mold.
Well, this one here was interesting because he was the first guy ever to side mold.
Got it.
We just started doing it. We did.
Yeah,
we did it at Columbia here. For a couple of the ridiculous cores that I came up with, but we had to learn how to do it. But side molding was not popular; it was top and bottom.
Right, but you were limited with the fattest part of the core being in the middle. You couldn't put anything wider at the bottom.
Yep, exactly right.
The core wouldn't release.
Yeah, now look at that core coming out of a mold.
Good luck. Yeah, how do you mold that? Where's the seam?
How do you mold it? Where's the seam? Right. Yeah, and he had side molded it. So then I got involved with Mo. And we developed the Shark, and that was the first ball that Mo did. Had an offset tip on the bottom, and it had a big belly. But again, it was, if you look at it, there's a lot of characteristics of that core that go back to the Enforcer.
Right.
Had the round part in the middle. And this ball sold very, very well for us. And what we found with this ball is it held its axis rotation longer.
Now we're jumping around the timeline quite a bit.
I couldn't put them in order. I couldn't timeline them.
So we're definitely you're like the Quentin Tarantino of storytelling right now.
I am. This is chapter 5.
Yeah, we jumped all the way to almost the turn of the century, and now we're back into the early 90s, late 80s.
That's exactly right. Only because I was trying to show some of the progressions that we made.
Sure.
And that was the 2-piece core that sort of started a lot of the ASIM stuff that we did.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big winner for us. And then companies try to copy the single density, because that was a single density ball, which meant that when you drilled it, it became more dynamic. Because you're drilling into a shape and you're altering the shape more than you are. And there's no influence of flip blocks or weight blocks anywhere.
Yeah. Someone says Phil couldn't Google it in timeline. Phil only has Yahoo, so he wasn't able to Google it and get anything right.
I would have had to do 10 hours of research for an hour and 40-minute show. It's going to be a little bit much. So I couldn't find a better picture of the Phantom. And this was truly the first asymmetrical ball, I believe.
Patented
Asymmetrical ball. Yeah. It was unique in a sense, the way the shape it had protrusions on the side, it had a ring around the middle of it. And that was
marked PSA as well. And also drill sheets to go with it. A whole video series on how to drill Phantom. This was like 1991. This is like top cutting edge stuff.
Right. And who were the people behind this one?
Brunswick. Ray Edwards, if I'm not mistaken.
And
Wasserberger.
Yeah, exactly. That was pretty brilliant at the time. The ring around it was we had fiddled with that. I tried it. I tried to fiddle with it before that had come out a little bit, and I tried to make a ring out of
silly putty.
Close, a garden hose.
Oh my God! I want to see your expense reports from Home Depot from like.
I had a garden hose that I connected. I filled it with core material and folded it together, and then I cut the garden hose off and tried to put it around a round ball.
Hey, garden hoser.
So that now we're talking about that's the reason that I couldn't manufacture, because some of my ideas were not factory friendly. But this one here was pretty cool, and it created a totally different ball motion. And that was sort of the godfather of asymmetrical balls.
Yeah.
Your
your core concepts and ways to get there were hinky at best.
Hinky?
Janky or hinky, whichever you prefer.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but go ahead.
That's fine.
And then Mo came out with this ball. This ball was very, very popular, and it was again. Let's go back. When he designed this core, he offset it because he had learned that from the Shark about offsetting the core.
Just the main body there.
Yeah. So what he did was he put a top and bottom flip block. I wish I had patent flip blocks when I invented them, and then he put a body in the middle and offset the body.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the next best thing after the Phantom came out of ball motion. And I don't know if Steve Freshour worked on this with Mo or not. I don't know if he did, but
I don't think they crossed paths till a lot later. I think more in the Mo Rich era.
You might be right. I think
that was almost like 2000, probably 8, 9 when they finally crossed paths.
Right. And this ball was unique in a sense, but again, it was multi-density. You know, so Mo had learned about single density with the Shark, but got into multi-density with the 3D offset, and now we've gone from here. We'll talk with Steve in a couple of weeks about some of the things that have changed since then. But now we have combinations of weird shapes, asymmetrical shapes with flip blocks. We have dual density cores, which I didn't even get into yet, because a lot of cores are with. If you side seam a core, you can pour one half with one density and pour the other half with the other density.
Yeah,
and
think about it. Think about this ball. I'm just thinking about the history of hammer. Hammer dominated the urethane era. I mean, it was pretty much the hammer, blue hammer, and pink hammer for spares, and then they came out with the pearl hammers. When reactive became the norm, became the standard as far as ball reaction, Hammer said, "Nah, it's a phase. It's not gonna stick."
Yeah, Dennis Baldwin said it was a fad.
Yeah, it was a fad. So they never came out with one until probably 95, 96, and they came out with that navy reactive and I think the red reactive, and they were terrible bowling balls. Hammer.
Do you realize that the burgundy hammer was the closest thing to reactive resin at the time?
I didn't know that, but
it was literally like one molecule away from being a reactive resin bowling ball.
Yeah, but If you can tell me any hammer ball that was made from like 1996 to probably what year was this? The 3D hammer was probably 97, 98,
Yeah,
somewhere in there. Tell me one ball that came out between the first resin balls from Hammer and this ball. I think you'd be hard pressed because Mopinel essentially saved the Hammer brand by this ball.
With this
one ball.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
And it spawned the 3D, the Pearl that came out on the 40 and all the other stuff that came out after the fact. But
I agree.
Nobody threw Hammer in the mid 90s because
because they got run over. They didn't have the good cover stock. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave it at this, but I want to just touch on a few things. And in 2020, USBC bans balance holes. So now a lot of the things that we did with single density cores, like the Guru, the Reacts, and so on, all of those great motion balls, were drilled were designed based on using balance holes to remove the weight in certain spots, because prior to that, USBC lowered the diff. So we couldn't build in higher diffs. We had to have lower diffs and then have, after drilling numbers, blow the diffs up. So that's what got us to where we are today, where we have to design in the equivalent of a balance hole. It's got to come from the design and how you drill them. So, once they got away from balance holes and they put the restriction on the total diff, we got into more of a bigger belly cores, we did, in order to allow the diffs to blow up. And we can tell you where to drill them. And then the Bigfoot was the first ball that we designed with protrusions, that if you drilled into the protrusion, it would blow up the diff. If you drilled away from the protrusion, it did not. So you had two variations in there. And we're learning from that one. So, that's something that we're still working on, the fact of where to drill the ball and where the protrusions are going to be, because I think that's the wave of the future.
Right. And that being a symmetrical ball is one of the few symmetrical balls, or any ball in general, where the shifting the CG different ways can actually affect it. Not because you're shifting mass. I'm sorry, you're not shifting the weight, the side weights or whatever. No, that's not making an effect.
You're shifting the shape, the core.
You're affecting where you're actually drilling, because
correct. That's correct.
It's still symmetrical, so there's no preferred spin axis on drill. But once you drill into it, you
can make it really blow up.
Sure. So
and we're working on a new concept with that, because of what we've learned. And as you see, what I took you through some of the history of what will this do, what will that do, what will this do. There were a lot of failures in between. Thankfully, they didn't become bowling balls. They didn't become product, but they became R&D time. And I would drive the R&D team crazy. I mean, I literally would.
You still do.
I still do. Not as bad. I'm not as bad.
Not as good either.
Probably. But, in those days, you'd come in there and talk to them. And here's the problem really was. We had engineers that were not bowling people. And once you have that, it's a bad combination. Because the engineer mindset is X is X, Y is Y, period. And if you're a bowler and a sales guy, and you combine that with a marketing person, I can market this, get some people's attention, I'll put performance in it, and I know how it's going to roll. And now going into a meeting with engineers that only know about pluses and minuses and angles and whatever, it's hard to convince them. And especially when I first started, because I had no reputation, of knowing anything. They're just going to believe me.
I think you still have that reputation.
I still do. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm a knucklehead. Oh, wait, they used that last night. Anyway.
Oh, man, that's funny.
I know it. Anyway, hopefully in 2 weeks we'll get Steve on if he's available, and I'll let Steve take over, talk about some of the concepts we use now, and how he and I kick around some ideas.
Sounds great.
Pick a winner.
I'm going to work on it.
Oh, wait. You want to do any questions?
Nah, we're already at an hour 20. I think we'll save all the questions.
To hell with it.
We had a lot of people commenting on a lot of the stuff, whether they had the ball or not.
Yeah.
There wasn't any like crazy questions that I can remember, but just people kind of reminiscing with us on some of these old bowling
Right.
balls that have come out in the past, and people that have had them, success with them. Fact checking us on some of the numbers and all that stuff.
Fact check.
But
I thought we weren't going to fact check.
yeah, well, too bad. We make the rules and we change the rules. But you got your timer
All right.
out because we're about to pick a winner.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Remember, if you're
See
in the
what I got.
show, you got 90 seconds.
Reset.
Check.
I got the timer. Go.
All right, here we go. The winner this week is Stacy Roberts. Stacy,
Go.
you got 90 seconds, Stacy. Check in with us.
Stacy Roberts.
Otherwise, you're just gonna get one spin like they did last week. But hey,
The guy got a ball. Did he ever contact you?
He did. Rattler Big Bite is what he picked.
Beautiful. Good choice.
Dun,
Good
dun.
choice.
Stacy
Stacy Roberts. Stacy Roberts.
How much time you got? How much time you
I
got?
used up 25 seconds. She used up.
Oh, you got a minute 5. Hurry up, Stacy. You got a minute 5 to check in.
Less than
Where
that now.
Where are you at, Stacy?
Come on, Stacy. Stacy bailed on us.
It's so lonely. Just
Stacy Roberts. Dun, 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 dun. 45 seconds for Stacy Roberts. All right. Well, it looks like we're going to end up giving Stacy one spin of the magic wheel.
She's there.
Oh, she's here.
She's
All
there.
right. Got it with 30 seconds to go, Stacy. Cutting a
All
little
right.
close. Next time you win, be in there a little quicker.
All right, I'm gonna spin it, and we're gonna see what you win. And if you don't want it, don't say you get a ball and you don't want it. You want 3 balls. We get it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for a 3. I always hope for 3-ball Arsenal because I like to just cut into Phil's budget. So for every 3-ball Arsenal we give away, that's one less trip to Home Depot he can make. So anyway, here we go.
All right, Stacy. Good luck.
See what we got.
Here we go, Stacy.
Oh,
New
ball.
ball again?
Yeah.
Why does that look so much bigger than the other ones?
Well, I mean, technically, I'm assuming she's gonna keep that. What do you say, Stacy?
She wants to go for the grip sack.
Do you want to throw this back and get a grip sack? Is that what you want? What do you say here? You're gonna keep the ball? And if so, what radical ball are you gonna pick? That's gonna be the next question. And it's what I'm gonna ask you when I email you. But let us know in the chat what you're gonna pick there. What are we going? She says there's a lot of lag, so hopefully we can catch her here. But we're giving away a new ball a week. It's like every week we're giving away new bowling balls.
This. We have to change the wheel around.
We're gonna have to start charging people on our show like other places.
No. I can't do that. I'll never give in to that. We're never gonna do charging. Next week, $6.
$6 entry fee, door fee,
Entry
cover
fee.
charge.
Cover charge. $6 cover charge. But you get a free drink. We'll mail it to you.
There you go. She
Sweet.
says sweet.
All right. Good deal.
I think that's a yes. She's keeping
That's a yes. I'll keep it. All right.
She's gonna keep it. She says so.
Oh, yep.
All right.
Exactly. All right, Nick. Good job again.
No, good job, you. This is all you. This show.
Yeah, it's on me every show. But anyway, I can't wait for baseball this weekend. The real team start playing again.
True that. The Dodgers. You're right.
I have to root for the Mets to win, so I have a chance to win back the bets I lost with my buddy Joey when it comes to Met Yankees. I lost some lunches and dinner. So if they make the World Series against the Yankees, I have a chance to maybe get some meals back.
All right.
It's been bad 2 years now. It's 2 years in a row I lost dinner to him.
Good. I'm glad.
I'm not used to that. Not used to that.
Shouldn't bet the Yankees.
Well, actually, not
Terrible
2 years
bet.
ago. Last year I won. It was 2 years ago. Yeah. Anyway, good deal. We'll see you guys next Wednesday.
That is true. And we're gonna try to
All right,
get.
we have new product next Wednesday to talk about, right?
Oh yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to get Fresh Hour in 2 weeks. That's right.
In 2 weeks is Fresh Hour. Next week we got all new balls to talk about.
So
we'll see
look
how
for
you
that.
do next week. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Good deal.
that's all for the show this week. Thanks
All
everybody
right,
for tuning in. We'll see you guys and ladies
And next
week.
week.
See ya.
See ya.